And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Anytime you're talking about fundamentals in a market and direction, fundamentals take a little bit of time to play out.
We got crude oil today, kind of trading yesterday's value area really nicely, low to high.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trade routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Market Recap. Still Wednesday, April the 6th. I'm John Hogan. Thanks for trusting me with your time. Hopefully you had a good trading day. A lot of it, I think, was spent sitting up, hurrying up and waiting for the FOMC to come out. Certainly some opportunities for everybody today. Dan saying right here, something for everybody today. Even shorts or longs got their opportunities today. As far as the news is concerned, well, the FOMC minutes are out. Most I can glean from them is a lot of officials, the officials are planning to shrink the balance sheet by $95 billion per month in a couple of different parts. Many of the participants noted that they would have preferred a 50 basis point increase 2 weeks ago on the last meeting. We'll have to see what happens between now and the next meeting, as we've seen some of them say they are open to changes between meetings. Next meeting, we'll have to see what happens. U.S. equities likely, they did knee-jerked in both directions with little real outcome in the range for the day. We opened, we closed, not too far from each other. Pretty decent opportunities on both sides. It was fun to watch. I didn't participate. I was pretty much done by that time. But hopefully, if you did participate, you found some good areas, some good levels. Crude prices dropped a little bit after an unexpected boost in inventories. Don't forget, we've got the rather contentious testimony by a couple of petroleum executives that went on in Congress today. I got to see a little bit of it. And Congress was downright rude, actually. The execs, however, did claim that they are not gouging. And again, it was a pretty contentious testimony. One thing I liked about it is I saw the part where both of them said, yeah, we made $25 billion this year. We lost $30 billion in 2021. They're not worried about them losing money, just worried about them making too much. We got too much government going on here. As far as the rest of the markets, we saw what happened in crude. It was almost a 9% drop after that EIA and that testimony. E-mini S&Ps knee-jerk both directions with little consequence. Yet, we've still got some digestion to do on what all this means to the economy as well as the overall global economy. Euro finds acceptance over time below the weekly kickoff low. The 10-year retests the weekly kickoff low and finds resistance. The natural gas looks like that weekly kickoff high we were looking at this morning has been proven to be a little bit too expensive, at least for the time being. The upside auction is still in pretty good shape. We're going to see all this on the charts shortly. I want to thank everybody for coming to group coaching today. We really a good session, I hope, and hope I answered things clearly and correctly, of course. Nobody knows everything. I certainly don't claim to. It's one of the reasons I do like to do those is because I learn probably more than you do. Here's the link for Make Hogue Money tomorrow. Tuesday, we made about $250. We got two trades off on Tuesday. One about a 500 and change winner, one $250 loss. And then we moved on with the rest of the day. We're going to do that again tomorrow. Make Hogue Money right after the market forecast, get into a Zoom meeting. Some folks are going to be able to raise their hands. They're going to be able to speak. We're going to talk about trades. We're going to vote on trades, and then we're going to take trades. But the beauty thing about it is it's all up to you. It's all your decision. I'm just going to be pushing the buttons and talking about what we're looking at. Good afternoon, Tachyon, George. Good to see you, Vince. Dan, another fantastic trading day. Always so positive, Dan. I'm glad that you had a good trading day. Buyers repeatedly stepped in at the 20-day simple moving average for ES and the NQ. I put that on the ES, so we're going to be able to see that on the charts. Thanks for pointing that out for us, Dan. Vince preempted your short by ES by about 10 minutes. Market played ping pong with the opening range a couple of times today. Something for everyone, a comedy tonight. Scott saw, and hopefully you conquer. It's good to see you chilling with Dylan, Bill, Kyle, Dan. Congress never ceases to amaze how out of touch they are. Yeah, there was something I saw on a bathroom wall once. Good afternoon, Kyle. Mr. Smith goes to Washington, 100%. Frederico. Saw this on a bathroom wall once, and I think it's very apropos most of the time. And it goes like this. If progress is opposite Congress, if pro is opposite con, is progress opposite Congress? That's how it goes. So we'll see what the crowd thinks of that. We got a little bit of a laugh out of the crowd on that one. A little bit of a laugh. All right. I'll take that. Today was fun, Frederico says. All right. So if pro is opposite con, is progress opposite Congress? All right. Let's take a look. See what we've seen in the charts. I got it set up to the daily in the S&Ps. Let's see Dan's 20-session simple moving average on the daily chart. See how that worked for us today. Looked pretty good. All right. Let's take a look. All right. Gonna bring my notes out from this morning so we can know what we talked about here. Howard Stern is worried. I wouldn't worry, Howard. All right. So even the S&Ps, downside structure and short time frame remains. It still remains. We brought in some decent volume on this push to the downside, which really occurred mostly in the overnight session, but I'm still interested in seeing what open interest looks like. If we see higher volume, higher open interest, the downside auction is going to look a lot more healthy. Here's that 20-session simple moving average that Dan was talking about. And yeah, we really did take a couple of good swipes at it, unable to move down below it. That hollow day that we saw on the up day on the 4th, certainly is continuing to see this market head in the opposite direction. Take a look at the 30-minute chart. So the market opens, looks lower, looks higher, looks lower, consolidates. The numbers, the FOMC comes out. We get a knee jerk to the downside. We get a knee jerk to the upside. We get another knee jerk to the upside. We get a knee jerk to the downside, and we basically end the day right about where we opened the regular trading days. Did we even have to do it today? We could have just marked settlement right there where we opened and walked away. But we did have some opportunity. Hopefully you were able to take advantage of some of the price action today. FOMC minutes, it's kind of a random walk. We did a pretty good attempt to close the gap here late in the day, unable to do so. No gaps. Excuse me. We left a gap from yesterday to today, but no spikes. And I think we've got some space here down below before we, reach our weekly kickoff low. And let's check out Crude. All right. We've been looking for it. Somebody, I think, actually called the fact that we might actually be able to break out of this coiling activity, and it looks like we are really close to it. Take a look at the 30-minute chart. So yeah, it looks like we definitely closed outside of that trend line. So we're gonna have to see what happens. Did we bring new open interest into the marketplace? Did we bring in good volume? We had a little bit of an uptick in volume. I wouldn't say anything tremendous. My interest is going to be, did we bring open interest? We're going to see if we find some continuation in this move to the downside. Really looking for some decent opportunity from this. And if I can't, I'm going to go, whoa. We'll have to see. All right. NASDAQ. Really a good test of that weekly kickoff low. Okay. Structure remains. Volume a little bit higher. See what the open interest looks like. If we added open interest, that's going to increase the health of the downside auction that we're currently in short time frame. We looked at higher volume and higher open interest yesterday. We added more volume. If we added more interest today, we're going to be asking ourselves, okay, what direction is this market attempting to go, and how good of a job is it doing getting there? I'm going to say it's doing a pretty good job. We really need to see a close and some time below weekly kickoff low before I'm really going to trust that downside. How many times have I been burned at looking to catch the big down move just to have the market recover and go right up? Gold, really still range bound, still unable to close a daily bar down below this 1924 level. Doesn't seem like it's all that impactful or useful in the day time frame. We got another deep look down below it, but did we close down below that on the daily? On let's see here. Yeah, it looks like we closed right on it or just below it. So no real acceptance down below that level. Excess. It's just nothing but excess down below that level. Find that to be very, very interesting. Did we change much today? Maybe a little bit. Value is certainly lower to overlapping lower yesterday, but still hugely in range. It's going to be a big day when that market finally breaks one way or the other. Low volume yesterday in the euro. But a breakout, a continuation on a little bit higher volume. Of course, we didn't really add any open interest yesterday. Are we going to today is going to be my question for tomorrow. We've still got some work to do before we can really see this market to continue to push to the downside. Got some swing lows over here that we're certainly going to be keeping an eye on. Here's the 30. Today, we opened, settled below weekly kickoff low yesterday. We looked above it, rejected. The 1 o'clock number, the FOMC came out. We looked above it, rejected. We closed a little bit lower than we did yesterday. Value overlapping to lower, and an important inflection level still in play for us tomorrow. 10-year. Pretty good move to the downside, but perhaps showing a little bit of oversoldness, if you will, pretty decent volume. What did this look like on the 30-minute chart? Opening, closing the gap. 1 o'clock, testing straight to weekly kickoff, and then closing below over value, outright lower. That I do find interesting. With value moving lower, if we added open interest, the downside auction might still be healthy. If we lost open interest, maybe we've gotten a little bit too short in the hole down here. And we're speaking of long or too long. We speculated this morning. We were considerably higher than this. We really didn't get much of a push to the upside after the overnight session, and we got a nice pullback. So our suspicion that we were getting a little bit too long, a little bit too overbought, even in an upside auction, this tends to a healthy upside auction. This does tend to happen from time to time. And we got our nice pullback. What it looked like on the 30, here it is. All the overnight inventory was to the long side. It's a pretty good example of overnight inventory. The buyers just did not come in and continue to push this market higher. I'm going to say that we're not going to get a big change in open interest from the activity today. We had a lot of overnight longs. A lot of those overnight longs got nervous and started the fire to the downside. Maybe some profit taking. If we lose open interest, we're going to look at this pullback as profit taking. That's going to take some selling power away from the marketplace. Still looking at this as a market that I want to look to buy weakness in. So tomorrow is Thursday. If you didn't know that. So Thursday, we've got jobless claims. We've got a bunch of talking feds throughout the day, starting with Bullard at 8 a.m. Central Time. We've got EIA natural gas. We've got some short time frame bill announcements. We've got a 10-year note announcement, 30-year bond announcement, and then a couple more talking feds as the day comes to an end tomorrow. So a lot of those talking feds are going to be talking up what they thought, what they think, what they're thinking about as for policy in the future. So a lot of eyes will be on that. It seems to be the nuance du jour, if you will. And so, yeah, we got tomorrow. Captain Price saved capital for the next day. Nice job, Captain Price. We usually like to talk about what happened on these days, and today there's so much. I don't know what it is about April 6th, but almost everything on this list involves war, and I think we're getting enough war, so I'm going to go past that and talk about in 1909, Robert Peary almost reaches the North Pole. He thought he did. However, navigational errors in his travel log surfaced after his death. Apparently, he didn't make it. 1896, the first modern Olympic Games occurred. And in 1968, 2001, A Space Odyssey was released in theaters. What about in music? We love our music. Today, in 1937, Merle Haggard was born. Merle Haggard. Very prolific songwriter, guitarist. 1965 today, the Beach Boys went into United Western Recorders recording studio complex in Hollywood to start work on a new Brian Wilson Mike Love song called California Girls. They did 44 takes of the backing track until Brian Wilson was satisfied. 1966, the first session of what would become the Beatles' album Revolver started today. Something else I saw here. In 1987, lawyers issued a statement that Roger Waters believed himself to be the creative driving force behind Pink Floyd, therefore would contest the use of the name by anyone else, any of the other former members of Pink Floyd. And in 2016, on April 6th, Merle Haggard passed away on his birthday. He scored over 10 U.S. country #1 albums during his career. Very prolific, very busy guy. Always find those very interesting. All right, so, well, hopefully you had a good trading day today. I'm finding myself, even though I just had a vacation, very tired at the end of the trading days. So I'm going to try and up my activity and eat a little bit better over the next few days and weeks, and see if I can build my energy level up. I'm good until about now, till about 3:30, 4 o'clock, and then I just get tired. And these down days are always the days that take the most out of me. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow because it's Make Hogue Money. Benjamin. Yeah, that's my fretboard. And yes, I do play. I've played drums since I was in about first grade and picked up the guitar when I was about 20. Didn't put it down until about 6-8 years ago. Haven't been playing much lately. Have big designs on picking it back up again. But it's kind of a long story about that fretboard. It's not like, doesn't belong to anybody. It's not important to anybody. I just thought it would be an interesting talking point for behind me. I have a deck on the back of my house that's surrounded by trees, and I did a considerable amount of entertaining back on that deck for a few years. And as a kind of a conversation piece, I used to hang guitars in those trees. And when people would say, "John, there's a guitar in your tree," I'd say, "Yeah, they live here. The guitars live in my trees. They're migratory. They're going to go away in the winter, but they'll be back next spring." I left one out all winter, and it kind of fell apart, and the fretboard fell off, and I said, "I don't know, that's kind of cool. I like it." DMLM, we do it in Zoom. Benjamin, we're going to get the band together one of these days. Benjamin, that's the link to register for Make Hogue Money. We'll look forward to seeing you there tomorrow, and looking forward to your good trade ideas. And we should get the band together. The Top Step Band. Be a lot of fun. Yep, you're welcome, DMLM. All right. Get some rest today. Be good to yourself. You deserve it. We work hard at this. Be good to others. They deserve it because you love them. Continue to keep praying for peace. Get a good night's sleep. Be ready for tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow morning for the market forecast. Have a great night.